Hey everybody, it's Mike from Off-Road Riding Adventures. Just wanted to do something a little bit different today to give out some information. The other day I changed the two fuel filters on my 2021 F250 6.7 turbo diesel for the first time. So a ton of YouTube videos on how to change your filters. I'll just show you guys. I was going to record my own, had a little bit of a mishap, and that's why I'm making this video, basically to show you what to be prepared for. I had diesel splash all over the camera, spilled diesel, everything else. So that's what I'm trying to get you to avoid. Okay, so I got my drain pan in place, and right up here is the drain. It should twist and turn counterclockwise. There we go. You pull it, twist it, and drain. Drain diesel fuel. And try not to drain it on your camera. And go ahead and we'll let this drain. Okay, as I said, there's two fuel filters on the 2021. I believe the 2020 6.7s are the same exact. I'm not sure about the 2022, but this is one of the fuel filters here, which is up underneath the hood by your oil dipstick reader. Very simple to change out, guys. You've got three separate plugs here. 1, 2, 3. You just pull these clips up, pull them out, pull these clips up, pull this one up, pull this clip up, and pull them off. And then your cartridge, which I'll show you the spent cartridge in a second, just turns like maybe a quarter turn counterclockwise, and the assembly itself pulls right out. Drop the new cartridge in, turn it a quarter turn back clockwise, and then reconnect your three hoses. It's as simple as that. It's like changing an ink cartridge on a printer. Okay, these are my old cartridges. Like I said, I'll explain why I stopped videoing here just in a second, but this is the cartridge underneath the hood that comes out. It's all one contained thing. There's no open in it. A little bit of fuel will come out once you tilt it and drain it into your drain pan. Like I said, you'll set this back down, turn it a quarter turn clockwise, and it sits in the basket perfect. Rehooked your hoses and you're finished. Okay, and this is a fuel filter that goes right in front of the fuel tank and the cartridge. It comes out, and that's the way it comes. This is the OEM. I put aftermarket in, and this is a gasket. When you get the new kit, you will get both. You will get the hood fuel filter, and you will get the fuel tank assembly fuel filter, plus you'll also get a new gasket. The new gasket goes on the cartridge holder. Just put it in. It takes literally, once you drop this down, a minute to replace everything. Let's say this was going inside the cartridge here. This is the way it will go. It just drops right back down in your basket that you're going to drop down, and your rubber side here is going to be up, so it'll be a solid plastic on this side, and the side facing inward to the truck will be your cloth filter. Pretty simple. Okay, so this is the cartridge that is right up in front of the gas tank. This is going to be your drain valve right here. All you do is you will grab it, turn a quarter turn, maybe a little bit more counterclockwise, and pull down. And when you do, you're going to start getting flow out of the drain hole here. Now, here's the problem. When that comes out, before I saw it coming out, I'd Googled, and it said about a half of a gallon that will come out of this cartridge, which seemed quite a bit. So I put one pan down, and it kept draining. Filled that pan up. Put down the second pan, and it kept draining. Turned off the fuel filter valve here, and I'm like, all right, maybe something's wrong. I skipped a step or whatever. Found another video where a guy advised that sometimes it will take anywhere from 3 to 6, 7 gallons of diesel before it stops draining. I had no clue. I had another bucket, and I filled it up. So in total, I took out about 4.5 gallons of diesel fuel when I had to drain it for the filter. So just be prepared to have a container. He had a good idea of getting a nice, clean, big plastic bucket that you could dump everything in there and not have to stop and get messy again, turn into diesel fuel off and everything else to catch all of the diesel. Like I said, in total, almost 5 gallons of diesel I got out of mine. Okay, so you turn the drain knob counterclockwise and pull down on it, and you're going to get your fuel filter draining out the system. All right, so when you go to remove the cartridge, there's 5 bolts here. There's sort of V pattern, one here, 2 over here, then 1 back over here. So they're 8mm bolt heads. So just get an 8mm socket with an extension. They're not torqued very tight. They're actually pretty loose. Take them down. Don't worry about dropping the bolts or any nuts or anything inside the container, because they are self-housed where they stay in the bottom of the cartridge right here. Also, to make it easier, you can unplug here, pull that off, your electronic plug here, and your cartridge just drops down. Once it drops down, make sure you wipe it clean, install the new gasket that comes in the kit, and install the cartridge, put it back up in there, and do your cross patterns. Just lightly snug down the nuts there and the bolts. I'm not sure what the actual specs call for foot-pounds, but they weren't on very tight, so I just hand tightened them up and went around, made sure everything was secure, and did that way. So it worked out good. It's a very easy change. Like I said, my challenge was I didn't realize how much diesel I was going to have to drain before I could get this out. And like I said, it was almost 5 gallons. I had diesel everywhere. Like I said, it even splashed on my camera because I had such a small pan that it was splashing when I first started doing the draining. So get a big Rubbermaid tub or something to catch it and keep the splash from going everywhere. It's as simple as that as far as changing your fuel filters. All right, there's one last step to the process. You've got to purge the air out of your fuel lines going into the tank. So how do you do that? Very simple. Insert your key. Do not start the truck. Just turn it on for power. And if you step back outside, once the fuel pump kicks in, you'll hear it purging air down through the fuel lines. And let it run for a second, turn it back off, and repeat. It took me about I don't know, 5 or 6 times before the air was purged out of the system, where you heard, the noticeable change in the hum of the fuel pump from pumping air to pumping actual diesel. Okay, so like I said, it took me 5 or 6 times to rotate the ignition, let the fuel pump spool up in order to get all the air out of the system. That's all you need to do. You'll notice the change in the hum of an empty fuel pump just driving through air to when it actually starts pumping fuel back to the filters. After that, just start your truck. We'll go underneath the hood, make sure that your connection wires are good, nothing's draining or leaking out of the 3 hoses that are going in. Climb back underneath your truck, and same thing, just check to make sure that you have no leaks from the new cartridge that you installed. Hopefully, the thing that if anybody learns out of this video is just be prepared for how much diesel is going to actually drain out of your gas tank. Like I said, I got a solid 4.5 gallons in that container, and I probably spilled another ½ gallon when I was shuffling buckets and everything else. So hope that helps.